Welcome to ExamPadi. Today, we're going to be learning about the elements in the periodic table. The periodic table is like a giant cheat sheet for chemists. It tells them all about the different elements and how they interact with each other. Let's get started. First, what is an element? An element is a substance made up of only one type of atom. Atoms are the building blocks of everything around us. They are very tiny and cannot be seen with the naked eye. Now, let's take a look at the periodic table. The periodic table is organized into rows and columns, and there are 118 known elements on the periodic table. The rows are called periods and the columns are called groups. Each element has its own box on the periodic table. The box tells us a lot of information about that element. Let's take a look at the first 20 elements of the periodic table. There's hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, and calcium. The first thing we see in the boxes of the periodic table is the element symbol. The symbol is usually one or two letters that represent the element's name. For example, the symbol for oxygen is O. Next, we see the element's atomic number. This tells us how many protons the element has in its nucleus. The number of protons is what determines which element it is. For example, oxygen has 8 protons, so its atomic number is 8. The atomic mass is also shown in the box. This tells us how heavy the element is in comparison to other elements. It's calculated by adding up the number of protons and neutrons in the nucleus. For example, oxygen has 8 protons and 8 neutrons, so the atomic mass is 16. Now, let's talk about the different groups on the periodic table. The elements in each group have similar properties. For example, the elements in group 1 are called alkali metals. They are very reactive and they can explode when exposed to water. Some examples of alkali metals are lithium, sodium, and potassium. The elements in group 2 are called alkaline earth metals. They are also reactive, but not as much as the alkali metals. Some examples of alkaline earth metals are magnesium, calcium, and strontium. Moving on to group 17, these elements are called halogens. They are very reactive and can be dangerous if not handled properly. Chlorine and fluorine are some examples of halogens. Finally, let's talk about noble gases. These are the elements in group 18. They are called noble gases because they are very stable and don't react with other elements. Some examples of noble gases are helium and neon. There are so many cool things we can do with elements. Have you ever heard of fireworks? The bright colors in fireworks are made by different elements. For example, copper makes a green color and strontium makes a red color. Another cool thing we can do with elements is make magnets. Magnets are made from a combination of iron, nickel, and cobalt. These elements have magnetic properties, which means they can attract other magnetic materials. In conclusion, the periodic table is a very useful tool for chemists. It helps us understand the different elements and how they interact with each other. Here's what we learned today. We learned that each element has its own symbol, atomic number, and atomic mass. We also learned about the different groups on the periodic table and some cool things we can do with the elements. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something new today. Subscribe to ExamPadi for more videos. Goodbye.